Good morning, everybody. Myself, Acharya Vishvendra, and today I'm going to discuss a worksheet on optimal worksheets. So let's begin with the concept of optimal worksheet. So the first question that you must be having is why the concept of optimal worksheet for JEE NEET. So we will start with the exam analysis. So in both NEET and JEE, there are three subjects: in JEE PCM and in NEET PCB, Physics, Chemistry, Bio, and Physics, Chemistry, Maths. There are about 100 chapters and a total of about 6000 A4 size pages. But out of these 6000 pages, only 20 to 30 page information is of relevance in the exam. Suppose we take the pattern of NEET exam, there are about 180 questions. And in those 180 questions, the information is being asked from a particular line of a particular paragraph of a particular page. So if we compile all the information, that sums out to be about 20 to 30 pages. So in NEET there are 180 questions, JEE Main 90 questions, and in JEE Advanced there are two papers, each having about 50 to 70 questions. So there are about 100 to 140 questions in JEE Advanced. So the probability of information retention is 30 by 6000, which is 1 by 200, which is 0.005. That is only 0.5% probability is there. So that roughly means that out of all the perfectly written information, only 0.5% is probable to come in the exam. So that give you a statistical analysis of how tough the exam is. And here the game is of the retention pattern or the neural pattern. Now let's proceed with how a normal student prepare for exams. So suppose this is a normal student. So certainly he has got a source of information and he transfer that information in his mind brain system. But the first reaction of the mind brain system will be thoughts and incomplete pattern formation. Suppose you are studying some topic just like friction in physics. So when you will start studying, you will be having thoughts. Thoughts are actually a sort of information mapping. You must have some information regarding friction, and you are trying to connect the new information to the old information. And there is the game that induces certain thoughts. But generally, thoughts are fragile and thoughts are unstable and tricky. So if you are unable to control the thought pattern or to orient the thought patterns as per the exam is concerned, then there is a probability that one thought will induce another thought, and there will be a network of thoughts, and you will be unable to come out with the desired thought pattern which is of relevance in cracking the competitive exams. So as the mechanism is that when you study something, there is a development of certain neural pattern. You have certain thoughts, neurons are connecting in a certain way. And after all the connections, final output is a neural pattern. When you are complete with the study process, then the final output is a stable neural pattern. Then the task is to store this neural pattern in the mind, firstly in the conscious, then subconscious and unconscious. But the next step is to retain the neural pattern from unconscious to subconscious to conscious to the brain. And the retention process, this is the solve factor which is the secret to JEE NEET. You just ask yourself about what you studied 2 days before and observe the reaction of your mind brain system. So you must be feeling a sort of uncomfortable feelings, anxiety, depression, hallucinations, unstable and freaky thoughts. So that is because your inability to get connected to the unconscious mind. There comes the role of retention. Because connecting brain to the mind is the secret to get success in cracking competitive exams. Because only 0.5% probability is there that what you studied will come in the exam. So think from an examination point of view. Suppose you are solving a particular problem. To solve that particular problem, you need a certain neural pattern which you studied maybe 1 year or 2 year back. So here the entire game is the development of the retention of that neural pattern which you studied 1 year or 2 year back. So that is the secret of cracking competitive exams. So normally, if we talk statistically, there are about 2000 neural patterns as per JEE and NEET are concerned. So everything revolves around that. So a normal student is not able to reach up to the level of neural patterns. He is just limited to thoughts or incomplete patterns, but he is unable to, understand the exact mechanism is retention of the neural pattern which you have learned during 1 year or 2 year. So there comes the role of optimal worksheets. Now let's study another perspective of a successful student. So source is same for this student also, but this student focus on pattern formation and retrieval process. So suppose the student study for 10 minutes. So out of those 10 minutes, he will use about 3 minutes to check his retention process. He will study for 7 minutes and the next 3 minutes he will use for developing the retention pattern. He will check that whether I'm able to retain, am I capable to retain what I learned? And that develops his mind brain system to a next higher level, or that makes his mind brain system complex uh, and hard, complex and tough to crack. So that complex mind brain system, that so that complex and strong mind brain system is need to crack the competitive exams, because you just feel yourself, just ask you any question and feel what is happening within you. So if your mind brain system is strong and complex, then you will not feel any sort of uh, anxiety, depression, or any thought pattern. You will come to the perfect conclusion that this question will be solved using this neural pattern. You will download the exact neural pattern from your unconscious mind and will be able to solve the question. So the successful students know the art of retention or retrieval process of the neural patterns, and they practice retrieval process again and again, even when the time when they sleep. Because when we sleep, there is natural coordination of conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. So at that time, you can learn things very naturally. And if you are able to form the neural pattern, so take use of the moment when you sleep. So when you sleep, just think about what you learned today. Try to revise that, try to be comfortable with that. And once you are able to make a pathway for the retention process, then your memory will be amazing. You will be having good retention capacity and you will be able to retain what you learned during 1 or 2 year in the exam. That is the secret of this. So optimal worksheets are designed, psychologically designed with the purpose so as to induce this retrieval process, to make you learn the retrieval process. Then how you will be able to retain most of the information when you will appear for exam. So that is the fundamental basis behind the optimal worksheet. Now let's understand this with the help of a question of physics. Suppose there is a block of mass 20 kg, limiting friction is 0.4, kinetic is 0.2, and a time dependent force is applied on the block. Then first question is, we need to find the time after which block will start moving. Then acceleration of block as a function of time and friction of ball on block as a function of time. This is a standard JEE advanced problem, so we shall proceed with this. Now there is a pattern of solving this question, that for moving a block, force should be greater than the limiting friction, and after moving, friction will be kinetic. So using this pattern, we can solve that F should be greater than limiting friction. Limiting friction is mu into n, so mu into 200. Mu here is mu limiting is 0.4, so that comes out to be t square greater than 81, t greater than 9. So t naught from here comes out to be 9 seconds. Next is acceleration as a function of time. So for t less than t naught, acceleration is 0 as the block is not moving. And for t greater than t naught, friction will be kinetic friction. There is again the use of second pattern. So now drawing the FBD, we have net force is m into a. So after solving, we get a is equals to t square minus 41 by 20. Now again the question is friction as a function of time. So for t greater than t naught, friction will be kinetic, will be 40 Newton. So for t greater than this, friction will be 40 Newton, and before t for t less than t naught, friction will be equal to external force, which will be t square minus 1. So you have seen that using that pattern, we have solved this question within, let's say, 40 to 50 seconds. So each question taking about 10 to 12 seconds. So that is the use of neural pattern. So you can also do that if you are comfortable with retaining the neural pattern exactly as and when asked. So that gives a practical viewpoint of how and why neural patterns are significant, what is their use, and how we can optimize our preparation using the concept of neural patterns. So from now onwards, whatever you are studying, make sure that you are able to convert that study into the formation of a neural pattern. Because if you are able to form the neural pattern, there is no need to study. That is what the clever students do. They study with the purpose of fetching the neural pattern out of what they are studying. Suppose there are 10 pages, so out of 10 pages, they know that which information is relevant for the neural patterns which will be used in the exams, which will be used in solving questions. So they study with the strategy, they study with the pre-recognized mindset, they study with a pre-planned mindset that I have to fetch the neural pattern out of these 10 pages. And that is the secret to JEE and NEET. Because if you study randomly, you are not able to form the neural pattern, then when you will solve question, you will not be able to retain the exact information. You will just have thoughts or the incomplete patterns, and you will just waste your time and energy. So the optimal worksheets are just a tool to make your mind brain system follow the pattern which is used to crack the competitive exams. So these are just a tool to optimize your time and energy so as to have maximum output with minimum input. Thank you and have a nice day.